Good morning, good morning, good morning. Are you ready to rumble? It is Trash Talk Thursday. Good morning, Bethany. It's got to be early for you. My goodness. You make me want to take a nap. So this morning, hey, Christina, good morning. Good morning. Donna, how you doing? So, hey, Lori. You know what, guys? I woke up. I woke up probably the time that Bethany's at now, in the middle of the night, and I heard the word Mephibosheth. Now, I don't know if you guys have read the story of Mephibosheth. It's 2 Samuel chapter 9. And so all morning I've been looking at this story, going back and forth. Mephibosheth. You know that one of the ways that they come to a translation of his name is Mephibosheth is a dispeller of shame. Been on that story for, I could probably learn a couple of things from you then if you've been on that story for a while. As I was digging through it, I was just trying to figure out what is important about Mephibosheth. Guys, when it's supposed to be Trash Talk Thursday, you're looking for something gritty, looking for something, punch us square in the face. As I've looked and tried to find some resources to talk to me about this and then digging into this, guys, can I suggest to you one of the things we need to understand is that shame has no place. Isn't it interesting? If you're not familiar with the story, as a child, Mephibosheth was dropped. In that moment, his feet no longer work correctly. It says that he was lame in his feet. This time and in that time frame, if you were lame, you were discarded, you were second class, there wasn't room for you. And yet this is the grandson of King Saul. So we have one who is to be the dispeller of shame, and yet he carries the mark of that which should be in that time shameful. He's lame in his feet. So here we are. King David takes his throne, and David turns and says, "Is there anyone left from the house of Saul so I can show kindness to Jonathan?" Now, without going through the whole story, read it. Go back and check this out. I'm hoping that you're familiar that David and Jonathan were absolute connected at the heart. They were brothers. Jonathan was ready to abdicate his throne, his right to the throne, so that David could be king. That's a story for another time, but something you should probably consider. So here we are looking at Mephibosheth, Jonathan's son, who's lame in his feet, who's supposed to be a dispeller of shame and yet carries shame. We find that in David asking, "Is there anyone left?" there's a servant of the house of Saul that comes and says, "Jonathan's son." He has been hidden in Lodabar. Lodabar, the place of no pastures. It can also be said that it is a place with no voice. Mephibosheth, the one who is to dispel shame, now lives in a place of shame. There is no pastures. There's nowhere for the animals to eat. There's nowhere for anyone to grow anything. And it is a place with no voice, no communication, no speech. You're not supposed to say anything. Shut up, sit down, be quiet, and take it. So here's the one who is to dispel shame, who now lives surrounded by it. May I suggest to you today That many times, instead of entering places as daughters and sons of the King, we come in, instead of dispelling shame, carrying it. We come in as bastard children, not the chosen children, that we come in as second class. Who told you that you were second class? Who told you that you were from Lodi Bar? Who said that to you? Who told you you were from somewhere that was full of shame and that you must behave that way and be silent? We are surrounded by a world that is screaming at the top of their lungs. We're surrounded by noise. And yet, instead of being ones who dispel shame, who bring in the rule of righteousness, we walk in acting as if we do not belong, as if we were not chosen, and hoping not to disturb those creating the noise, disturbance, and ruling the place of Lodabar. They're ruling the place with no pasture and telling everyone to sit down, shut up, and take it. Guys, it's time to rise up. Now, let me make sure that you understand what I'm saying to you. I'm not looking for a revolution that screams. I'm looking for the act of kindness of the King David. He said, "Bring Mephibosheth to me." Bring him. You see, when you live in shame, when you're called by the king, you come prepared for death, for punishment. Mephibosheth, in that time, expected for David to kill him. When David began to express kindness towards Mephibosheth, he said, what kind of dead dog am I that you would give me any attention? Expecting punishment. Still, after the words of kindness from David. You see, I'm telling you, so often we approach things and we expect punishment instead of favor, instead of kindness. You see, we need to rise up as David did and say, how can I help someone who lives in shame become what they were created to be and dispel shame? Oh, let me restore to you all that has been taken. David said, I will restore to you all of Saul's belongings. Everything that was Saul's, all of his lands, they are now yours. By the way, you will never have to work them. Ziba, you and your family will work this for Mephibosheth. You will work this land. But you'll never use your wealth upon yourself, Mephibosheth. You will eat at my table always. Guys, that sounds to me a little bit like exceedingly abundantly above all I could think, ask, or imagine. It doesn't sound like a man who is covered in shame, restored to the place of everything that should have been his was now made his. May I suggest to you that when Mephibosheth was then brought to David's table, that which brought Mephibosheth shame was covered. At the table of restoration, in the place of family, anything that is shameful is covered. You are restored to your proper place. So, can we please rise up with a movement of kindness, generosity, motivated by love, so that the noise is silenced by the awe of who just arrived. Let's stop arriving as second-class citizens, believing that somehow something we've done has impeded our progress. Allow your Heavenly Father to restore to you everything that belongs to you, everything that's been stolen. Sit at His table so that anything that you consider a blemish is hidden and covered. Now's not the time to continue to say someday, somewhere, somehow. Today's the day that we say, now's the time. I'm the one. And everything is restored. So, guys, I hope this means something to you. Hope you have a great day. Be Mephibosheth at the table. Don't be Mephibosheth stuck in Lodabar. You guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon.